Hello, taco people. Strap in and relax because we got a couple hours of some easy listening to bring you, brothers and sisters. And the show starts now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Taco Tuesday. I'm your host, Hebro77, along with Sagittarically speaking. Sagittarically, welcome back, my brother. You were gone. Shifty Sunday, you were having technical difficulties, as I understand it. Is this correct?
Yeah, I shifted. I shifted in a different direction than the rest of the world on that particular evening. I heard that you had a successful show, nevertheless, and I'm glad for that.
Well, it just wasn't the same without you, but it was successful nonetheless, I got to tell you.
Well, it's good to know that you can carry on, and that it's not quite the same without me. That really helps feed my ego and makes me feel good about myself.
Oh, wait. We don't want that. We don't want you
Oh,
getting.
my
Yeah,
bad.
bring it down. Bring it down just a notch, just a little.
All right, my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, by making myself, less available, it creates more of a demand. That's the way that's what my manager told me anyway.
You're holding out for a bigger contract.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
You'll hear from my manager. He'll work out all the details with you.
As opposed to getting nothing for doing this show, you'll be getting nothing.
Right. Double of nothing is double of that, which is double nothing.
Right. Ooh, double O's. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Speaking of super huge and big and apparently easy to spot this evening will be the pink supermoon of 2020. It's the closest the moon has been will be to the Earth this calendar year.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about my super huge 24-inch python there.
Yeah, I know, right? Like I said right before we went on air, I can't believe you're going to make me look at a picture of you flexing your muscle for the next however long the show lasts.
Well, I got to put something up there for the ladies. They can't just be staring at an empty space all day.
I have to admit it is quite a macho picture, and that does look like I don't know, like a small Brazilian tank, if not a full-sized army one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not quite there yet. But this actually is a picture from 1 year ago. I'm getting back to it though. That was back in my macho Hulk Hogan days.
Gotcha. That's after a few weeks of hardcore training, huh?
Oh yeah, that's back when I was eating the 6 raw eggs and whatever else the hell I threw in there.
Well, it's a macho picture, and it offsets the frilly little Happy Easter background that we got going on here.
It sure does, man. It's like the Happy Easter background is kind of feminine a little bit, but you know what? It's for Easter. We're all supposed to be pink on Easter.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a better time to get in touch with my feminine side, I guess.
Well, you know what?
To bite a head off of a few marshmallow peeps.
Hell yeah, that's how you do it, man. If Armour was here, you'd ask Armour. He would say, "I eat my peeps like a man." I bite them.
And exactly how do you do that?
You bite the heads off first.
Okay.
Like a man.
Like a man. That's pretty good.
Hey,
I wonder if he dips them in his black coffee. No, because that would make the coffee sweet and less manly.
Right. Yeah, that wouldn't work. I do happen to know for a fact he likes the peanut butter Reese's eggs, which I think we talked about that earlier backstage.
We talked about Reese's eggs, yes, but not the fact that Armor likes them.
Oh yeah, the fact that they like to hide them all over the store.
Yeah, I couldn't find any today. I actually wanted to get some. I had to settle for chocolate donuts.
Yeah, well, hey, that's not bad. You know what I got? I got uh, every time I go to that dollar store, they always have the eggs, but they didn't have them this time. I think they hid them in different departments of the store, man. I think they hid them in like, like you go over to the shoe department and you're like, what's this doing in my shoe? You put your foot in there and you get it like a squishy chocolate between
Well,
your
with it going into Easter weekend, I'm sure people that don't even normally buy eggs probably were buying them.
Oh yeah, true. And it's rather hard to find eggs. I mean, you could find the plastic ones. Yeah.
Yeah, every time I find a plastic one, though, there's always like a nickel in it, and I was shooting for a quarter.
Oh yeah. Well, at least you get a nickel in yours. I always just get jelly beans in mine. I'm like,
Oh,
what the
really?
hell? I'm like, what the hell, man? I just got these jelly beans in my basket, and then I got to take all the grass out to search for all the jelly beans, you know. And then you're putting a jelly bean in my egg, really? Come on. Just saying. I don't mean to sound ungrateful or anything, but
Right. Oh, yeah. I wonder how many wonderful Easter egg hunts will be, with 6 feet separation.
well, you know what? Even before the um, we hit all of our
I don't know what.
you know,
What?
the cold beer.
The bug flu?
Yeah, that.
Oh, okay.
Even before that happened, we used to hide our Easter eggs. Like we'd hide one way over here on the fence and one way over here on the clothesline, just inside the clothesline pole, and one right over here, in an old garden boot. And,
Hold on. I'm writing all these down for future reference.
okay.
Now, what was that last thing you said? Garbage what?
An old garden boot.
A what?
An old garden boot.
Garden boot.
Yeah.
Okay. As opposed to like putting it in the new garden boots, you use the old ones. Okay.
Oh yeah. When we're doing them in the house, like I remember one Easter when I was a kid, it snowed or it was raining or something like that, and we hid them in the house. And I tell you, man, there's some interesting place to hide eggs in the house, but there's one problem with that. One problem. Um, you don't want to hide one in your oven or like underneath the refrigerator, because then you forget about it. Like if the kid doesn't find it or whatever, and then you forget about it, and then you turn your oven on, and then all of a sudden you're like, "What's that smell?" Like, I don't know. Where's that smell coming from? It smells like it's coming from the oven, And then you open the oven, and you got a bad smell in there with whatever food you put in there. Like, let's say you put a frozen pizza in there. Well, now you've got a frozen pizza with bag egg smell on it.
Yeah, I did something similar to that once. I
Yeah.
left a piece of Tupperware, like how like sometimes you throw um, your pan, like you're trying to make room on the stove when you're cooking, so you just open the oven door and you throw the pan in there just to.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
I had like a small Tupperware lid or something on the pan, and then later, weeks later or whatever, I went to preheat the oven and didn't take the look inside it first, and that lid started melting into that pan, and it
Ooh.
sunk up the whole house. So I can relate.
Oh man. Well, I'll tell you what. It looks like we have a full house here tonight. Why don't we give these fine schwein fettered folks a good shout out? What do you think?
All right, yeah, sure, no problem. We do have some pretty good stuff to talk about, so I'm glad we got an audience. Let's see what we got here. We have Lorraine Lamore was the first to arrive. It says we got 10, but I don't see a list of 10 names here. CJ Wood, Lothar 900, and another late night 78. And he says a boot. He
Well,
understood you.
let me ask you, did you forget about Michael Fontaine?
I haven't forgot about him, but I scrolled right past his name. Michael Fontaine.
Michael Fontaine.
He is in the house.
Yeah. You know that's never going to get old. You know that, right?
Well, it won't until it does.
Well, I'll tell you
But it
what.
hasn't happened yet. So
On top of Michael Fontaine being here tonight, we also have a Mandela Effect.
a Mandela Effect.
Too bad we don't have a third person. A Mandela Effect.
A Mandela Effect.
Yeah, we do actually have a Mandela Effect on the Mandela Effect channel. Can you believe that?
Well, every once in a while we're known to bring up such a subject.
So, do you want?
I think that the one you're discussing, actually is a pretty good find, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you what. I thought it was weird when I heard it on late night with Jimmy Fallon.
Well, anything you hear on late night with Jimmy Fallon's is kind of weird when you hear it anyway. But
yes, it is a weird one.
it is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a very weird Mandela Effect. All right.
You're not yanking my chain, are you?
No, I'm not. Yeah, I just got that. I'm Yankovicing your chain, I guess.
You're Yankovicing.
No, seriously, folks, this one comes from me, Hebro77, and
I've heard of that guy. He's pretty cool.
he's okay. I think he's a little bit too showy offy.
He's been known to do that from time to time.
But what I forgot to put in the description is we're going to show my toe. We're going to show a picture of the toe now that the black toenail's gone.
Okay, well, let's wait till near the end of the show to run the audience off. What do you say?
Okay. Well, we're already run the audience off, I think, with our rotten egg talk.
Oh, okay.
And your melted lid.
Yeah, well, it's the haphazard catastrophes that make life worth living.
Oh, for sure, man. But hey, listen, yeah. So I was watching Jimmy Fallon, and actually, I think it's social distancing at home with Jimmy Fallon. But nonetheless, he mentions Weird Al, and he mentioned his last name before I even say what it is. I don't know how many people in this room saw my video or not, but I did do a video on this very thing that we're talking about. So they can just go over and check the video. But I'm going to give them a chance to, what is Weird Al's full name? Type out his full name in the chat. And we'll just wait.
Like his government name?
His government name.
Okay, I'm going to type it out here. WIERD.
Well, no, not.
AL. All right, here comes the hard part.
Okay, we've got. Well, no, we don't need his full name, CJ.
Well, you did say his full name.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good old Hebro. He's always on something.
You mean, how do you spell his last name more specifically, right?
Yeah, the last name, right.
More importantly, the last two letters of his name.
Okay, late night's got it. Lorraine Lamore's got Yankovic. Lotar's got Yankovic. Late night says 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 Let's see who else has got Yankovic. I think that's all we're going to get, brother.
Yeah.
Now I got to tell you, I could put it up on the screen here. Let me go ahead and do that. You want me to do that?
Well, yeah, I mean, that would be fine. So we got one CH. Everybody else is a C. And you know what? I was telling you before that I it's not something that you type out very often that you actually spell out. But when I went, if I was when I've always pronounced it Yankovic, but I did see recently him.
Uh-oh.
Nothing of it because I didn't have my Mandela Effect radar on. You know what I mean at the time, so I just assumed that he only had the C, but we still pronounced it itch. But once I watched your video and saw, it intrigued me, so I looked up how many people spelled it the other way, and oh my gosh, there's so many examples of it being spelled with the CH.
Well, here's
But
one.
today's reality, that is the current way it's spelled. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Weird Al Yankovic. But here's
All
the,
right.
You're talking about, you saw a lot of examples. And in my video, I show quite a few examples on eBay, but I couldn't find any videos. I mean, this was the hardest one I think I ever had to research.
I know if I found on Spotify a lot of spellings with the CH.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Let me do something here. If you could bring that up, that would be lovely. But let me go ahead and bring up what I had before.
Well, the way I brought it up was in a Google search. I just used the quotes and spelled it with the CH.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I got so many results I could just scroll through them it was ridiculous.
Well, here's what I had when I went through. I'm just going to show a clip from my video. How about that? Oh, sorry. Hold on, guys.
All right. Guitar time.
Let me fast forward this. And I'll put it on where let me show you some of the
Quebec.
how do I pause this?
So
Okay. Let me get out of here so I can share the screen. Okay.
Oh, I see the rabbit. I saw the rabbit.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I got to see the rabbit.
Oh. Yeah, when I took the screen down.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to application window. What is that still doing up there? That makes no sense. All right. Cancel then. I guess I got to take down this. Yeah, let me take that down. And are we still live?
As far as I can tell, we are.
Oh, okay. Thank God. I'm messing with so many buttons here. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It seems like it would have been easier just to type Yankovic with the quotes than to do all that. But hey, who am I to say?
Right. No, I don't do the quotes when I'm doing this, and that might be part of my problem, my issue.
Well, I'm one of many, my friend. One of many.
One of many. Okay, let's get to the application window here. Okay. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to infinity screen. How about that?
All right, to infinity and beyond.
Let me know if do you see this?
I see the infinity screen.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh, man. What am I, in the Twilight Zone?
Do 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 do.
All right, let's try this. We're going to try it one more time, and if it doesn't work, then I'm going to. No, it didn't work. Damn it! I'm just.
It's always fun doing technical wizardry with you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It never gets old. Well, until it does, which it hasn't yet.
Okay. just remember one thing though. Just keep in
What's
mind.
that?
This will probably be an ongoing thing that I do.
I think it already is an ongoing. For it to become one would be an after statement.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, let me go to my videos.
If I was to ever have a co-host that could just bring up stuff without taking at least 4 or 5 minutes and oh my gosh, what's going on here? And I can't. How about we look at my infinity screen? Oh, forget it. Never mind. If we didn't have that I wouldn't know how to act. I would be like, ask him to bring something. He'd bring it right up. I'd be like, no, you got to take 5-10 minutes. You got to figure it out.
Exactly.
You're doing it all wrong.
That's right. They got to know how to do it the Hebrew way. Which I got to say, actually here lately, I haven't been doing too awfully bad.
No, you're just trying to make up for it now, which I understand.
Uh-huh. Oh, there's the music. Okay, let me get to the meat of the subject here.
Okay, first of all, just calm down, take a breath, relax.
Okay, now here's the thing I wanted to show everybody. Here we go.
All right.
I'm gonna do it this time. This time it's gonna work. It's gonna work.
All right. I got my fingers crossed.
There we go. All right. Now we're gonna do this thing that we do. Okay, do you see that?
Yeah, I sure do. I was gonna mess with you and say no, but I'm not that cruel.
Now I could not click this link. Now here's his. Let's just watch this part of the video.
To his wiki page, making sure that everyone's just not mispronouncing it. And his birth name is Alfred Matthew Yankovic. So that's pretty much. Hold on a second. This is interesting. So I went over to newspapers.com and I got 407 matches for Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, you can see the different. California has 46.
Some of these news
Pennsylvania
articles
has.
just a website, a different website than what
I couldn't click on it. They want you to join their membership or whatever.
I just wanted to show you that
right.
7 matches. So I'm on to something apparently, even though it's a small amount. It's still there.
And actually, 407 matches to me is not a small amount. For anybody that can't see this screen, I'm going to put it to full screen. Can you see that better?
Yeah.
Let me hide that thing there. Okay, can you see it even better now?
Yeah, I see it just fine.
Okay, let's ask the audience if they can see it.
With you having the different states up there with the numbers, it looks like we're getting coronavirus reports.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Well, it's not quite that high, but yeah, I see what you mean. The numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when it gets it's funny because when it gets into New Jersey, you don't have as many.
I know that's what they said on the news too. Oh wait, never mind.
Right. Well, okay. There goes that one. So, for anybody that wants to see the video at its full length, here, hold on. You can. It's still up there for anybody to see. But I thought I'd bring us a little bit of Mandela affecting here tonight because, I've noticed since the you-know-what bug is going on, everyone's been focused on that. Everyone's attention has been focused on that. You cannot go to YouTube, go to Facebook, go to any place on the internet without at least one mention of it. And that's what I wanted to try to keep from tonight.
Right. Yeah, I don't necessarily want to. I definitely don't want to go down the rabbit hole string theory thing of the whatever the big secret stuff is and all that. I mean, I'm just not. I'm just not there tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe another night. I'm done trying to speculate on who did what and who did where and what the hidden agenda is and all that kind of stuff. However, I did find an interesting article I want to share later that talks about going forward how things might be different. So that's just I don't know. I found it to be an interesting read. I thought I would share it with you guys, but I'm going to save that for later on this evening.
I want to read whatever Lotar's saying down here. Car phones for him came out in the late 60s in the U.S., but TV was invented in Germany in 1933. Breakfast television is actually copyrighted to the first German TV show. Oh, wow, that's neat.
What? He said breakfast television?
Yeah, breakfast television.
All right.
I'm guessing that's what you watch when you're eating your breakfast. I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they have eggs and bacon, and they show you eggs and bacon while you're.
Do you remember the frozen dinners and used to be called TV dinners, even though there was not as far as I know, there was never actually one that had the word TV dinner wrote on it.
I'm telling you what, man. I don't remember them, but I remember the ones you before we had a microwave. They had the ones where you had to put them in the oven, and they were all foiled in.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Those were the ones that had a dessert usually.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of these today still kind of do, but it seems like every time I heat up my Salisbury steak microwavable TV dinner, it turns out to taste almost like the pears or apples that's in the other compartment. It's almost like the juices slide from the other compartment into meatloaf compartment.
Well, I think what happens is it's all kind of baking under that same either lid or plastic or foil, so they're kind of all the steaminess is kind of congregating together. You see what I mean?
Right, and you know what? Now I don't think they even call them TV dinners anymore. Now I think they.
Well,
call
that's what
them,
I was trying to get at. I don't even think people use that expression anymore.
You don't think so?
I know I haven't heard it in a long time. I'm curious. Maybe someone in chat can say if they still call it TV dinner, or even heard of it being called a TV dinner. And I remember as a kid, I thought that you were only allowed to eat those if you were actually watching TV.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
You couldn't just sit at the dinner table with no TV on and eat them. That's like going against the rules.
Yeah, I had the same rule in my house when I was growing up. You can only eat these if you're sitting in front of the TV.
Yeah, with like one of those little TV trays,
Yeah. Hey, I remember we still have, my grandparents still have them. They still have the big TV trays that you put everything on those things. You can put your drink, your meal, your remote control. You put everything on there.
Except for your feet. If you put your feet, they usually fall.
Well, I'm saying, well, you put your feet underneath. But here's the problem I used to have is I would go to stand up and I would knock everything on the floor.
Oh, and if you go to pick them up, you have to know exactly how, or it's all going to fold down on you.
Oh, yeah.
Don't go try to pick up a TV tray and they have a bunch of stuff on it and you picked it up improperly, or it's going to not go well for you, my friend.
I can remember being a little kid and watching morning cartoons before going to school. My grandma would take I think I had like a little Batman TV tray or Scooby-Doo or something, whatever the hell was popular back then. It might have been Dukes of Hazzard. But anyway, the ones that you sit there on the floor and they go over your legs, you know what I'm talking about? Those ones.
I think I do. Yeah, I've never actually owned one, but I get them in theory.
Yeah, but yeah, she used to she would pour my cereal, make my breakfast or whatever, and have breakfast ready before I went to school, and would put the cereal or grapefruit or whatever was for breakfast that day, and I'd get my chocolate milk and sit there in front of the TV and watch morning cartoons till it was time for me to get dressed.
All right.
So yeah, maybe that's what breakfast TV is.
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard of breakfast TV.
Oh. Or maybe that could have been something that was just in Canada.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
But anyway, getting back to the point, they now call TV dinners. It's either go to the store and get me some of them Hungry Man dinners, or go to the store and get me some of them Swanson Man dinners, or whatever.
Swanson Man.
Swanson Man. Yeah, no, I guess that's not right, is it?
Sounds like you're getting lots of messages.
Yeah, they beep and bloop and flip and flap. Eddie Van Corona says, Macho Madness. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember Lotar, there only being, when I was a little kid, there just being 3, 6, 12, and sometimes St. Louis. Like there was only 4 channels. It was a long time before we actually got cable.
Right. Yeah, we had ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and then a couple UHF channels like Channel 19 in Cincinnati was Fox, and then Warner Brothers channel was 45 or Star WB. You know what I'm talking about? Did you have a Warner Brothers channel?
I don't think we had a Warner Brothers channel.
It didn't come out until like the late 80s. Like that's what Arsenio Hall was on.
Okay. No, I remember having, I guess that St. Louis channel might have been an affiliate. But CJ Wood brings up PBS. I do remember PBS.
Yep, and we had PBS, and that was like Sesame Street and all those cool things.
Well, then also you got to remember MTV was coming out, and when they first came out, not everybody could get them, and that's why they would say, "I want my MTV."
Who said that?
I don't know. All the bands would say it. Like you remember those commercials, right? They'd come on and say, "I want my MTV," and then somebody else come on, like Madonna, "I want my MTV," and then Kurt Loder or whatever his name is from MTV News, like, ask for MTV by name. They were basically telling everybody to tell their cable company or whatever to get them MTV, because that wasn't even a thing in a lot of homes.
Well, no, unless you had cable. I mean, it came standard with most cable. But we didn't have cable for the longest, but we eventually did get cable. But I mean, in my extreme young years, we didn't have it. We just had over the air television and a set of rabbit ears that you would literally get in an exact position, and as soon as you let go of it and walked away, it would start fizzing out again.
And let me ask you this: did you guys have one of those antennas on top of your roof?
One place we lived had that, but usually we lived in apartments and had rabbit ears.
No, so we had an antenna on top of the roof, and we had a cable that went down from the antenna to the roof into the back of the TV. And every once in a while, somebody would have to go up there on the roof and adjust the antenna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wasn't me.
Well, back to this super pink full moon.
Oh yeah, we're going to mention that super pink full moon here in just in about 5 or 10 minutes or so. But what we will mention it. But I do want to bring up something that I found in the store, and I think these are just for. Let me turn my light on. I think these are just for washing dishes. But I bought these gloves, and I thought, oh heck, man, I'll just reuse them. But check them out. Check them out. Hold on. See? Latex reusable gloves. I think those are just for washing dishes. And I'm not sure if these would be good to reuse, like after you've handled some grocery carts or, handled some crazy person's doorknob or something, but hey, I think you can wash them off with like dish soap and water. From what I
understand. Yeah, they would work fine. I mean, as far as like protecting you and whatnot when you're out and about trying to keep your hands virus free.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't see no reason why latex wouldn't work. It's good enough for a condom. It's good enough for your hands. That's what I always say.
Right there. We can get into all kinds of Corona jokes about that, but we'll do that backstage. I know Lotar's got some sort of like off-colored jokes there. Do you see? Right now, he's saying the moon's got pink eye. Now that's tamed with compared to some of his other jokes. Just saying.
Right. I'm bringing it up now.
You're bringing up the pink eye moon?
Yeah.
Pink eye moon, won't you come and freak us all the F out? I don't know. Just being silly here, folks. So when you bring that up, I'll share it.
Bring what up?
Oh, I thought you were going to send it to our Hangouts, and I'll share it.
Well, I did include a picture that I wanted you to share.
Sure. Let me get there.
But I'm going to read this article, okay?
All right. Let me put the picture up while you're reading the article.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Well, let me get to it. We got Taco Tuesday.
Fine. Yeah, I mean it's a long article, so you got plenty of time.
All right. Cool.
The super pink moon will glow in the night sky this week, but the full moon may not appear as its name may lead you to believe. This month's full moon will rise on Tuesday night and will be visible around the globe, weather permitting. You should be able to see a 100% full moon at around 10:35 Eastern time, which is about 10-15 minutes from now. And let's see here. Every month's full moon has a nickname so that it can be traced back hundreds of years to Native Americans or early colonials from Europe. April's full moon often corresponded with the early springtime blooms of a certain wildflower native to eastern North America, the Phlox subulata. That's what it's called. And there's a picture of that particular flower, which I've seen many times, but I did not know it was called that.
So you have flowers on here?
Yeah, you see the flowers?
Hold on a second. Let me get to it. Yeah, there they are, man. Hold on. Let me get this on screen. On screen, number one. Do you guys see that on screen? Crap. Hold on. Where? Try to exit.
And then I got to Farmer's Almanac. Believe it or not, is a thing you can do online nowadays. You don't have to go and buy the book in the grocery store. Where it says, according to the Farmer's Almanac, this will be the brightest supermoon of the year, mostly because the moon is the closest in orbit at this particular time than it will be at any of the other full moons. It will actually be about, on average, supermoons are 7% bigger and about 15% brighter than a typical full moon. However, unless you were to see a regular full moon and a supermoon side by side in the sky, the difference is kind of hard to notice. April's full moon is the first to occur after the March equinox, which makes it the first full moon of spring, and the paschal full moon. The paschal full moon is the full moon that determines the date of Easter. And there's another link to click on that if I want more information about that, but I'm going to move on. Although we wish this name had to do with the color of the moon, the reality is not quite as mystical or awe-inspiring. In truth, the April's full moon, again, is related to the color of these pink moss phlox or moss pink flowers.
There's the flowers. Okay.
Let me see here. It's also called the wild creeping phlox, PHLOX, and it's one of the earliest spring flowers to bloom. And then a couple little facts, little factoids. We're not going to go into the debate of whether it really happened or not. Let's just assume that it did. On April the 20th, 1972, the lunar module of Apollo 16 landed on the moon with astronauts John Young and Charles Duke aboard. Thomas Mattingly remained in orbit around the moon aboard the command module. One day later, on April 21st, 1972, the same astronauts mentioned before, John Young and Charles Duke, drove an electric car on the surface of the moon. And it's still up there, by the way, along with some expensive tools and some film that they forgot. And according to folklore, the period of time from the full moon through the last quarter of the moon is the best time for killing weeds, thinning, pruning, mowing, cutting timber, and planting below ground crops. And apparently it's a really great time to heat up TV dinners. Oh, no, wait, that's not in there.
Right. No, it probably is, though.
Right. And it says for setting eggs, 6th through 8th, 15th, and the 16th. And for fishing, the 1st through the 7th and the 22nd through the 30th. So there was one other thing I wanted to talk about was all the different, for this year, the different full moon and their names. I included a diagram if you want to bring it up.
Sure. Just wanted to show everybody this. That's a nice picture there. I'll tell you what, man. Wow, that number one, it's really huge. Number two, that moon there kind of looks like a pink Easter egg. Like if I were to dye an Easter egg and it turned out pink and whitish.
Well, even if you survived, it would still turn out that color.
Okay.
So don't worry about dyeing.
Oh, good one, Saji. But yeah, let's pull up that chart.
Historically, Native American and other traditional names for full moons were used to track the seasons. Think of them as nicknames for the moon. And the full moon names we use in the Old Farmer's Almanac come from Native American tribes, colonial Americans, or other traditional North American names passed down through generations. In January, we had the full wolf moon, which we already have experienced, which I vaguely remember. And its description wolves tended to howl more often at this time. This moon has also been called the cold moon and the spirit moon. And then in February, we had the full snow moon. And again, these is according to the Farmer's Almanac.
Hold on,
I'm
let me
sure it
get
might have different esoterical meanings and names and references,
Mhm.
but we're just going with this one for now. The heaviest snows of often fall in February. This moon has also been called the hunger moon. Hmm. I
Here.
guess it would be the hunger moon because people are hungry because it's been so long since anything's grown, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going with. And then you got March, the full worm moon. I mean,
Look
I
at
I,
that.
I can already kind of guess what they're going to say here, but let's read it anyway.
All right.
The ground begins to soften, and earthworm casts reappear, inviting the return of robins. This has also been called the sap moon, as it marks the time when maple sap begins to flow and the annual tapping of maple trees begins. Have you ever tapped a maple tree, my friend?
I've never met a maple tree actually. If I have, uh, I wouldn't know about it. They got those big leaves, right?
Yeah, they got the big, like broad,
Right.
yeah, leaf. Yeah,
Okay.
it's got like 5 points on it, kind of like a marijuana leaf, but it's not shaped like that. It's more broad and filled in.
So let me ask you this then. If you tried to smoke one of those leaves, you would probably be inhaling, it would probably have a sweet maple syrup smell.
You know, I would have never tried to smoke one, so I couldn't say. But I can tell you that like they make for great leaf piles in the fall. You can get some really big, tremendous looking leaf piles out of those maple leaves.
Hold on. Let me bring it Michael Fontaine's little question here. He has a question for you. Um, he broke from eternity. Did he just say an electric car in the moon? I was told as a kid it was a gas buggy. Special designed to run off of LPG or something mixed with oxygen. That's when I was in the sixth grade. So, what do you think about that?
That's an interesting uh, observation. Uh, I can see how it would be hard to do combustion in space,
Mhm.
but if it's got an airtight chamber and it's pumping oxygen into the chamber, I guess you could create combustion. That would require, that's something to look into. Maybe we have conflicting reports here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe maybe they've changed. That could even be a Mandela effect for crying out loud.
Oh, yeah. Well, it brings up the how do they fire off their rockets while they're up there? I mean, they have to get back to Earth. Do they use the thrust, whatever it's
That's
called?
a whole nother. That's a whole nother argument, my friend. Because people who say we never went to space claim that they shouldn't be able to get thrust if there's no atmosphere to create the resistance for the thrust to 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 propel
Hmm.
against.
Okay.
For instance, if you let all the air out of a balloon after you blow it up, you know how it takes off because of the difference. You
Sure.
know, well, in space it would just be like you're just releasing it into a vacuum of space. So would you get the same results?
Hmm.
That's an interesting
Well,
thing to ponder.
Michael Fontaine points out it's a hydrogen oxygen mix for the launch.
Okay, that
I,
makes sense.
yeah,
I
I can.
get how it works while it's in the atmosphere. Just not 100% sure how it would work in the depths of space. You see what I mean? I'm
Sure.
not a scientist, so I'm not really going. I haven't really researched it on a scientific level, but I've heard the argument made. So
Oh no, I heard it really sucks.
I heard it really blows, but whatever.
Well, Well, every time you think about a vacuum, you just automatically think of suction, I guess.
Right? Yeah, I can see that. All right, back to the moon.
Hey, wait,
Now we're at April,
wait,
the full pink
hold on.
moon.
Wait, hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
CJ, that's racist. I'm just kidding. I'm messing with her. She says Lotar 900 is maple syrup cheap where you are.
Yeah, I've seen a tapped maple syrup tree before. Have you? And that maple that comes out is nothing like the maple syrup that you get from. I can't think of her name. What's Aunt Jemima's maple syrup? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, man. I'll tell you what. Somebody was saying, I think it was on Facebook, like which one is hotter, Aunt Jemima or what's her name, Miss Butterworth? And I said, well, I think Mrs. Butterworth is married. I'm not sure if she swings or or what, but I always did have a certain attraction for Mrs. Butterworth.
Yeah, well, it's probably not best to think of your aunt as hot anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe she has a sugar daddy though. I don't know.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Okay, man. We'll get back to the moon, man. Back to
the moon. Yep. Which supposedly I hear we're going to get back to the moon. According to a recent article I read, we're going to try to mine the moon. I was going to bring that up later, but let me get back to the we're at the full pink moon, which we've already kind of discussed, but I'll read it anyway. The full moon heralded the appearance of the moss pink or wild ground phlox, which I'm sure I am mispronouncing. One of the first spring flowers. It also has been called the sprouting grass moon, the egg moon, and the fish moon. So if you had to pick, it seems like the pink moon is really caught on. It's trending. But if you could pick any one of those names, which one would you choose to classify it under? The sprouting grass moon, the egg moon, or the fish moon?
I don't know, man. I'll tell you what. I'm more partial to this. What the heck is that? Apricot?
Okay, a different moon altogether.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to May because there's one for each month. Believe it or not.
Sure, I believe that. Since we, of course, this is the first time I'm hearing all of these different moons. Like I knew about the blood wolf moon, and I knew about I guess just a regular wolf moon. But I never heard of some of these. I never heard of the deer moon or the fish moon. Which one are you on now?
Now we are going to move into May.
Oh, okay.
And its flowers bring forth in abundance this month. This has also been called the corn planting moon and the milk moon. But it's called the full flower moon.
Okay.
And then you got June, which is the full strawberry moon. In colonial areas, this was time to gather ripening strawberries. Go figure. It has also been called the rose moon and the hot moon.
I don't see it up here, but which one of these is the plumber's moon? I don't know.
I get it. It took me a second.
Oh, okay.
But I don't see one called that, my friend.
Oh, well.
But I'm sure that if you have if you hire a plumber, you'll be sure to see one.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, that would be more like a half moon, I guess.
Right. Hopefully just a crescent,
Right. The crescent moon. Before you get back to the chart, I wanted to mention real fast, I was going to take a picture of E.T. and Elliot, and I was going to crop their their heads off, and I was going to put our heads on there and attach it to the pink moon, and have you would be ET. You'd be saying, "Hey, bro, how are we going to get down from here?" And I'd be like, "I don't know. Just follow the Mandela effect."
All right. Well,
I don't know.
we would have a problem and you would have a solution. So that would work out really well.
Yeah. So I don't know. That would have been kind of funny, wouldn't it, though? Like the heads cut off and then our heads are on there.
Yes.
I don't
All right.
know.
So guess that July is the full buck moon.
Oh, that's the one I was talking about, the deer moon.
At this time, a buck's antlers are in full growth mode. This full moon has also been called the thunder moon because thunderstorms are so frequent during this month.
Thunder moon, thunder moon. Thunder moons are on the loose. Thunder moons are here. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Then we have August, the full sturgeon moon. The sturgeon of the Green Lakes and Lake Champlain were most readily caught during this full moon. This has also been called the green corn moon. Have you ever had green eggs and ham with green corn?
Hold on. I lost transmission.
Oh, no, I know. It seems like every time you think you can walk away, that's when I ask you a question.
Yeah. I gotta tell you something though, man. Do not get green eggs and ham from Sam. Because that Sam character, he's shady. You know, he'll sell you some bad green eggs and ham. I had some bad green eggs and ham I got from Sam. He said, Sam, I am, you know. And I had a bad trip, man. I was seeing walls melting and all kinds of things. It was freaking me out. So if you're going to get your green eggs and ham, don't get them from Sam. Get them from Sally.
Okay. Yeah. Sally has the best green and eggs and ham. Sam, though, has the best window pane if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, there you go.
September, the full corn moon.
The corn moon, huh?
Yep. It's kind of like one of our shows. It's extremely corny at that time.
Mm-hmm.
This full moon corresponds with the time of harvesting corn. So children of the corn love that moon.
They come out and
yeah.
Well, hey,
It's also been called the barley moon.
Barley. Oh,
yeah.
Like beer?
Yeah. Like beer.
Cool. Well, hey, I got a correction on my don't buy your green eggs and ham from Sam or from Sally. Buy your green eggs and ham from Pam and not Sam.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I just wanted to make that correction.
All right. In October, you have the full hunter's moon. This is a month when the leaves are falling and the game is fattened. Now is the time for hunting and laying in a store of provisions for a long winter ahead. October's moon has also been called the travel moon and the dying moon.
Well, I'll tell you what, that hunter's moon kind of reminds me of the green arrow a little bit.
Right? I can see that. And I can see how the birds would be calling it the travel moon because they're all like packing their suitcases, getting ready to fly south for the winter.
Oh, yeah.
And the dying moon would probably be like all the deer and the rabbits be like, dang, those dang hunters are going to be coming for us.
Yeah. Let's get our wisecracks all together so we could fool the hunters into thinking that we're a beautiful woman or, you know, some kind of, or that we're the game warden, and we're gonna, you know, because some of those rabbits are quite smart, my friend. They will do anything to make you, you know, if you stick your gun barrel down a rabbit hole, watch out. It'll come out the other end tied with a knot on it.
Right.
Because those bunnies are just that smart. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. If he says what's up and he refers to you as a pediatrician, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Let's see. For both the colonists and the local tribes, the November moon is called the full beaver moon. All right, let's hear it. Go ahead. Let's hear the joke.
I'm going to keep that one silent, my friend.
Okay.
Not
Well, this is the time to set beaver traps.
Let me ask you this, though.
All right.
Is this the time when women shave their legs the most?
Well, probably not because it's getting cold. It would probably be no shave November.
No shave. Oh man, that'd be kind of gross.
I've never faulted a female for not shaving her legs. I don't shave mine, so why should I hold her to a higher standard?
Right. Hey, by the way, we just got a message from Michelle. Said she'll be joining us shortly.
Okay.
So she might have a lot of things to bring to this moon table.
It's ever rotating moon table. All right. So at this time to set up beaver traps before the swamps froze to ensure a supply of warm winter furs.
I tried to set up beaver traps before, but I never got lucky.
Well, just off, what kind of traps did you set up?
Well, I mean, I've offered flowers and chocolates and held the door open for them, buy them a nice expensive dinner. And
right.
Oh, wait, no. Shame on me.
Well, just so you know, beavers are really kind of more into this like nuts and berries and foliage and warm, safe places to reside. And they like to live near water, running water, oftentimes where there's a potential they could build a dam.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like to be around trees and foliage.
Yeah, that's right.
So
well,
they don't really care much for you holding the door open for them. They're going to come in either way.
Man.
They could just use their teeth and chew right through the dang door.
Oh, man, that would hurt. I mean, nothing. Go ahead.
All right. And then lastly, but not least, we have good old December. The full cold moon. That's right. You heard it. You heard it here first. Taco Tuesday. The full cold moon. This is a month when winter cold fastens its grip and the nights become long and dark. This is when you wish your beaver traps would have worked. Oh, wait. And this full moon has also been called the long night's moon. Imagine that.
Full cold moon, long night, a long cold night. That makes sense.
And real briefly here, I was going to talk a little bit more about the Native Americans.
Oh, just 1 second. I know. I keep interrupting. But Awake and Activate asked us if we got our free tacos yet.
No, I'm not going out in the world just for a free taco.
Oh,
if it was all you can eat taco, yeah, I might risk my life for all you can eat taco.
Maybe DoorDash could bring you some tacos.
Yeah, again, if it was free, I would be all about it. Mm-hmm. But one free taco is hardly worth the gas it takes for me to drive to go get the taco.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all your stuff is way out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a 20-minute drive to the nearest Taco Bell.
Oh, well, that's not worth it.
No, I would be better off just making a run for the border.
Right. No, I know I keep interrupting your moon chart here, but it is good to talk in between these,
Oh, for sure. I'm done with the chart, but I am going to talk a little bit more about how Native Americans came up with these Well, let me just explain myself. The early Native Americans did not record time by using the months of the Julian or Gregorian calendar. They didn't have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. However, I did once meet an Indian whose name was Friday, but I'm sure it was for a totally different reason.
Well, the guy that plays Joe Friday, he's Native American, or he was part Native American, I guess.
Oh, maybe he's related.
I guess a lot of people could claim that, right?
Right.
No.
But many tribes kept track of time by observing the seasons in the lunar months. Although there was much variability, for some tribes, the year contained 4 seasons and started at a certain season, such as spring or fall. Others counted 5 seasons to a year. Some tribes defined a year as 12 moons, while others assigned it 13. Certain tribes that used the lunar calendar added an extra moon every few years to keep it in sync with the seasons. Each tribe that did name the full moon and or lunar months had its own naming preferences. Some would use 12 names for the year, while others might use 5, 6, or 7. Also, certain names might change the next year. A full moon name used by one tribe might differ from one used by another tribe for the same period of time, or be the same name but represent a different time period. The name itself was often a description relating to a particular activity or event that usually occurred during the time in their locations. Then you got the colonial Americans. They came in and adopted some of the Native American moon names and applied them to their own calendar system, primarily Julian and later Gregorian. Since the Gregorian calendar is the system that many in North America use today, that is how we have presented the list of moon names as a frame of references. But I don't know. I think I would be much more down with a lunar calendar versus a Gregorian per se, but who am I to say?
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I don't trust them Gregorian calendars.
Yeah, actually, I've been doing some research on that for a while. Eventually I'll get around to doing that presentation, but it's not going to be tonight.
Okay.
So what's going on in chat? Any good happenings?
Just Michelle making me hungry. She keeps talking about tacos, taco nachos, and all the stuff that I can't get my hands on right now, Just saying.
Gotcha.
And another late night says Moon Day. Says it's going to be Moon Day pretty soon.
Yeah, Moon Day. That would be I guess he's referring to Monday, which is actually like a long ways away. It couldn't be much further than, I think that's the furthest day away.
Well, I'll tell you, man, sometimes tomorrow's only a day away.
Yeah. Is there ever a time when it's not?
Well, it could either be only a day away or it could be one more day away. I don't know. That's debatable. I see we have Awake and Activate in the room right now.
Yeah, sorry. It's been raining and everything, and rainy weather makes me sleepy, and I was napping. I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. I just dazed off. I remember that there was free tacos, but they're not regular tacos. They're nacho tacos.
Oh,
so they're like the.
If they're
like
not
the good
mine,
ones.
then whose tacos are they? If they're not mine,
No, they're the nacho cheese, and then the double decker ones, and we have like 5 or 6 of them within a mile radius out here. You throw a rock and you're gonna hit a Taco Bell. So all I have to do is like drive around in a block, and I'd have like a 6-pack. I'd be good to go. And you can go through the drive-through, or they'll run them out to you, so you don't have to touch them or anything. To people, they just bring them out to you.
That would be cool if they would just feed them to me.
But I remember a long time ago when you named it Taco Tuesday. I was like, did you do that because the Taco Bell gave out free tacos? And I guess they didn't. They stopped doing it every Tuesday, and then they just decided to do it this Tuesday. So I was like, whoa, yay, we brought it back.
They probably heard our broadcast.
Mm-hmm. Bring back those free tacos. But these weren't the regular tacos. These are the nacho tacos. Nacho cheese in them too. Yum.
So they're nacho tacos, but they're your tacos.
Yeah, and they're free.
Mm-hmm. Hey, something I forgot to mention to Sadji was he's talking about gas, running out of gas, getting there. That it wouldn't be worth the gas. Well, hey, man, gas prices are low as they'll ever be right now. So this would be the perfect time to go 5 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles down the road. Go get you some tacos, man.
All right. Well, you talked me into it. I guess I'm going to have to get off here and go get me a taco.
Or just pick up everybody you can think of on your way and just say, just sit in my car and get one free one for everyone. Say, I drove. I get them all. Let me drop you off.
Right. Or just get mad for some real petty reason and tell everyone they got to get out of my car. Yeah.
You're so ornery.
Duck and row. Duck and row, man. Just tell them, you just let them out of your car as you're driving.
Which one of you guys adjusted my air vent? You all got to get out right now.
Right.
Yeah, that seems petty enough. But yeah, I haven't tried the nacho taco. I did try their double decker, but where they have the beans on the outer one with like a soft taco shell, and then the inner shell is the hard crunchy shell, and those were good. I'm thinking it's along the lines of that kind of a thing, or I don't know. But free is free,
I just think that you like to say nacho taco. I think you just came on the show so you could say nacho taco 17 times.
Is that why I said it 17 already?
No, you're only up to 8, but you still have time.
I'll get there.
Yeah. Well, hey, Michelle, now that we've got you on here, maybe you could tell us what your thoughts are on the pink moon.
I heard people talking about that, but I really am not much, into the moon phases and things like that. The only thing that really, got me was the Mandela moon effect type, when the moon started smiling at us like a Cheshire cat, that it's not on its elliptical anymore. It goes any direction. And that's about the extent, besides the blood moons, of course, and things like that. But, we have so many different types of moons. And I also remember it being once in a blue moon. And once in a blue moon, now it seems like blue moons happen all the time. So it's not even a scarcity or a phenomena anymore, because blue moons happen all the time.
Yeah, so now instead of drinking your blue moon beer every once in a while, you got to drink it like more often now.
Yeah. And a blue moon is what? 2 moons in a month, 2 full moons in a month. Makes it it's supposed to be once in a blue moon that happens, but it happens quite a bit now. So just a lot of changes, a lot of differences in how I remember things being to what they are today. I'm sorry if you guys can hear the rain in the background, because it's raining pretty good.
No problem. I don't hear it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I do it just a little bit now that you mentioned it. Yep.
Yeah, it's raining pretty good. We've had some pretty good thunderstorms.
Sounds like nachos hitting aluminum foil.
Sounds like sizzling, like
Yeah.
something's cooking.
I'll tell you what, man, that's one thing I'm ready for is to start grilling. Oh man, I'm ready for it, but I can't find any food for it.
But really, why?
All the meat shelves are empty. Right.
No, really. I'm sorry. We had that problem only in the beginning, and then now things are much calmer.
All right, so I got some guys.
Go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I was on a different window. All right, so apparently there's an image I just put in Taco Tuesday, Hebrew. If you want to share it while I read this.
Oh, okay. What do you have for us?
The water and ice and other lunar resources that will help the United States establish a long-term human presence on the moon are there for the taking, the White House believes. President Donald Trump signed an executive order today, and by today I mean yesterday, April the 6th, on Monday, establishing a U.S. policy on the exploitation of off-Earth resources. That policy stresses that the current regulatory regime, notably the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, believe it or not, that's a thing, allows the use of such resources. The view has long held sway in U.S. government circles. For example, the United States, like other major spacefaring nations, has not signed the 1979 Moon Treaty, which stipulates that non-scientific use of space resources be governed by an international regulatory framework. And in 2015, Congress passed a law explicitly allowing American companies and citizens to use moon and asteroid resources. The new executive order makes things even more official, stressing that the United States does not view space as global commons and sees a clear path to off-Earth mining without the need for further international treaty-level agreements. So what do you guys think about mining the moon? What little bit I do know about the moon is that it greatly affects the Earth's ability to have a stable orbit, and it has a major effect on the tides,
Weather,
and the weather. I mean, can you imagine just like something going wrong, like an explosion, and throwing the moon off of its balance and sending it, either slightly out of its normal orbit, which would just cause major catastrophe? Would it be worth risking that just to get some stuff off the moon? I don't know. What do you guys think?
It would have to be an awfully big explosion. And how are you going to have an explosion in space?
Well, if you got mining stuff up there, it just seems like, you would be putting undue stress on the moon, and something could go wrong, if you got machinery and equipment up there.
You got to think of the moon is like a planet almost, and if you're on there on the moon, I'm sure it's kind of like got deep stuff underneath it and whatnot have you, and it would be like you get on part of the moon and it'd be like stepping onto another country is like it would have its own separate countries is what I would think, sort of like areas. You know what I'm trying to say?
I know what you're trying to say. However, I think it would kind of just be first come, first serve. If you can get up there and grab it, you get up there, you go. I think that's kind of like the mentality that the United States is taking. Hey, I mean, maybe China could make it up there too, maybe Russia, but after that, I think it's probably a real short list of people who could contend for the resources.
But I don't know, man. I don't know about knocking it off of its orbit, though.
Didn't a while ago they shoot up a missile? They were like towards the dome or whatever, but they actually hit the moon and it reverberated and rang like a bell.
Yeah, it was China that did that. Yeah,
China. Okay, for a very long time. So I don't know if I would go messing with it until we figure out what the heck it is.
Right.
I agree. I think that this is kind of like probably what the whole Space Force thing is about is trying to. I think it's coming down to certain corporations are having grand ambitions on how they could possibly try to, make lots of money, for lack of a better word, versus having any concern for a sustainable human presence. Just my thoughts on the matter. I guess I'm being a bit, I don't know, maniacal, maybe. You could say I'm being, I'm a lunatic, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, I never thought about that. On some of these phases of the moon, I think maybe the blood moon or something like that. Isn't that supposed to make everyone sort of crazy?
Well, that's where the term lunatic comes from.
Yeah.
I thought that was full moons.
Yeah, definitely full moon. Like tonight would be the night if you worked in a bar or a call center environment where the calls would be really crazy, or things would definitely have people just acting in weird ways. Just people behave differently. Wolves are known for howling at the moon, but I think Homo sapiens are just as affected by the moon. They just don't necessarily howl at it.
I wonder if during the pink moon, if that's supposed to be like the romantic moon, like if people start feeling certain feelings in certain areas and have feelings of romance for the opposite sex and stuff, and just makes me wonder, not just humans in general, but animals too. Do they start like going in heat and just start finding each other and stuff like that? I wonder.
Well, everything I think there's a harmony to that, and you do know. I mean, I would say that it's safe to assume that these coming months would be the months when a lot of things are fertile and kittens and dogs and all those little things are known to start happening. Being yeah, I would agree with you on that. This is normal. This time of year is definitely normal for that type of thing to occur.
Well, I got something to say to add to that real quick before we drop the subject or go off of it or go on to another subject. I don't know. But I did just step outside while you were talking about President Trump mining for gold on the moon, or not gold, coal and water and whatnot.
I just said resources, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Fill in the blank.
And oil. No, I went outside and looked, and the moon's actually quite white, like it's a bright white. Is the pink moon supposed to happen tonight or tomorrow night?
Well, it actually is supposed to be available right now. If weather permitting, you should be able to see it.
Yeah, I saw it, and it's just bright white.
Yeah, it's not. Again, the pink moon isn't called pink for its actual color. It's called pink because of the flowers. Remember?
Well, that's weird. But then how? Okay, wait. So how are we getting pictures? Like you showed me those pictures of an actual pink moon.
Right. Well, that's the magic of Photoshop.
Oh, Okay. Well, they got me. That's for sure.
When I'm
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
oh look,
did
it's storming.
Mm.
I'd be soaking wet in like 2 seconds. We've gotten a lot of rain the past 3 days. Just gonna wash away any kind of virus or anything. We're being cleaned. I think about that when it rains real good, like the earth is taking a shower.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like you see all the trash in the street, like floating to the gutters and stuff, and it's like, the earth is cleaning itself off, man.
Yep. Yep.
I like a good shower. The only thing I don't like is freaking lightning and thunder and wind, all that nonsense. I don't like it one bit.
We had the thunderstorms the day before yesterday, but otherwise it's just been just raining really good.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It's a good rain though. It's not like too hard or it's not like if you get hit with it, it's gonna sting. It's not come down. There's not wind and all that. It's just coming down, like taking a nice shower.
I got to clean out my gutters, but it's just one of those kind of rains then that makes you want to nap all day during it.
Yes,
Yeah.
very soothing, very relaxing.
Well, if you are one of those people who are interested in going to the moon, NASA is ramped up its hiring. It's looking for astronauts, believe it or not. And
Well,
yeah,
if they keep going the way they're going, we may have to ship all of our people to the moon.
we'll talk about isolation. I mean, you can't get much more isolated than that.
No.
Or social distancing.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna social distance to the moon. Okay, bye bye.
Right. That's what I tell people that are on Facebook. They leave these posts saying, "Well, if you guys are going to blah blah blah, then I'm just going to start blocking people or something like that," and I'll go, "Goodbye, see you."
Social distancing.
Right?
There's all different kinds of it, but yeah, I called my doctor today because it's time for my monthly appointment, and I said, is there any kind of problems? Because I could just have my husband swing in and pick up my prescriptions and not have an appointment. And they're like, nope, they haven't had anybody come down with or diagnosed with or even be symptomatic for that, so we're all good there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yep. I think we're just getting very lucky.
Yeah, for sure. Is it just me, or is the governor of what is he? The governor of New Jersey or something, or New York? He kind of reminds me of a mafia boss for some reason.
The one of New York always does.
Yeah, the Kumo or Como. Is it Como? It's like,
It's their mannerisms and yeah. This is my state, New York.
oh,
You
speaking
don't
of
like it, get out of here.
right. Speaking of mafia bosses, I was on Facebook and I'm was watching a live. They had a live stream earlier. A former mafia guy who got out of the mob. He's out of the mob. He found Jesus, and he didn't snitch on anybody. He didn't become an informant. He just kind of left the life. And so, yeah, he has his own, I guess you'd call it a group or whatever, and he preaches to people. And he'll go to someone's house and like talk to them about Jesus and whatnot. And anyway, I just found it very fascinating. And there's always going to be the mafia questions and this and that, but he doesn't shy away from talking about it either. He talks about the life, and I think his name is Michael Francis. Michael Francis.
Are you being serious?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
thought you were
I
just.
heard that if he shows up at your house and he, unlike the some of the other people who do that, if you offend him in any way or denounce, what he's trying to tell you, you end up getting buried in your own backyard.
Oh my gosh.
No, he's left that life a long time ago. He's found Jesus, and I actually have showed some video clips on him on my Thursday show.
Yeah, I knew that. I was just kidding. He buries you in your neighbor's backyard.
Right, the neighbors, but not yours, right?
Oh my gosh. What did I walk into?
Well, you walked into a good mooning, and you know talks about certain anatomies and body parts and stuff like that. So yeah, you walked into a good show, Michelle. I got to tell you.
Are you guys going to be getting together with your family this weekend?
That would be a big no.
Yeah, we're not
The only
either.
family I have anywhere remotely close to me is my brother, and they are on strict quarantine over there. So nobody's coming here and nobody's going there.
Same here. We're all under strict quarantine. We're gonna the Easter Bunny actually came early this year, if you catch my meaning.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's weird
For
that,
the little
well,
ones.
I don't know if
Huh?
anybody else has experienced this or not, but this morning when I woke up, my phone gave me a travel log, like for how much I've traveled in the past, I don't know, 7 days or something like that. It was a travel history. So basically, my phone has been tracking whenever I go anywhere and keeping tabs on me on when I left, how many places I visited, how many miles I traveled, and when I came back. And it got me curious as to why this morning, of all times, did it choose to give me this report. And the only thing I could come up with in my head was, I wonder if because of this whole quarantine
Lockdown?
thing, yeah, if somebody out there is trying to get information as to how much people are traveling, and somehow they just access the Google's service, but in order to get the information, they had to get it to actually run the report. So it somehow convinced my phone to run a report on me so that they could access my travel for the past 7 days. Am I being way too tinfoily hat here?
Well, I
Or?
don't know. It kind of ties into what we were talking about um, on the phone a couple days ago. I don't know if you want to bring it up or talk about it live on the air or anything, but that stuff that you told me about was definitely weird, and it definitely I don't know. You might have something in correlation with that. What you told me about.
Well, I actually decided to to look into it a little bit, and believe it or not, there's a on the Atlantic Journal, which is um, a fairly well known publication. They have an article called "Contact Tracing Could Free America from Quarantine." And notice how they make it sound all hopeful and optimistic. Oh, it could free us from quarantine. That sounds so nice. So let's hear more about this. This is the world of test and trace. In the past month, the coronavirus pandemic has necessitated a deep freeze of U.S. activity. Storefronts are closed. Millions.
I can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So where did you lose me?
You started talking about that the quarantine, and then how it could be a good thing, and then you started to it almost like sound like you were reading something, and then you cut out.
All right. All right. So basically, in the past month, the coronavirus pandemic has necessitated a deep freeze of U.S. activity. Storefronts are closed. Millions of Americans have lost their jobs. Millions more are putting their health at risk in hospitals and grocery stores. This modern nightmare may not truly end until a reliable antiviral treatment or COVID-19 vaccine is widely available. Until that day, which may be a year or two away, our best hope in the fight against the coronavirus is to play a game of sophisticated whack-a-mole that often goes by the name.
And you're gone again.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why it makes me do that, but thanks for letting me know.
You're welcome.
All right. And most readers might not have an image of what the testing half entails. With those long nasal swabs that practically scrape the edge of our frontal lobe, the tracing half of the equation is less understood, but it's more likely to leave its mark on American politics and society. And in its most basic form, tracing, otherwise known as tracking or contact tracing, means identifying all the recent interactions of sick individuals to determine who they might have infected. Testing plus tracing can besiege the virus, starving it of its new bodies and return the world to its previous routine or something like that. You guys with me so far?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Just checking in. Until recently, tracing relied on the old-fashioned technology. Interviews to stop the spread of the Ebola, authorities from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention asked sick people to list recent interactions with family, friends, and businesses. That interview would produce a list of contacts who would be monitored for illness for several weeks. The state of Massachusetts recently announced plans to hire 1,000 people to do these sort of contract tracing interviews. But that old school approach might not be enough. People have faulty memories about who or what they've touched or where they've been. More important, person-to-person interviews might be too slow to arrest a national pandemic accelerating through a population. The solution? Guess what it is?
Yeah. What is the solution again? I'm sorry.
The solution is, hold on, I'm going to tell you right here. It is probably in your hand right now. It is your phone. Our cell phones and smartphones have several means of logging our activity. GPS tracks our location, and Bluetooth exchanges signals with nearby devices. In its most basic form, cell phone tracing might go like this. If someone tests positive for COVID-19, health officials could obtain a record of that person's cell phone activity and compare it with the data emitted by other phone owners. If officials saw any GPS overlap, e.g. data showing that I went to a McDonald's hotspot, or Bluetooth hits, data showing that I came within several feet of a new patient, they could contact me and urge me to self-isolate or seek a test. Dr. Ramesh Raskar
It keeps cutting him out.
Did I time out?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, man.
All right, this is the last of it right here. Ramesh Raskar, a computer scientist at the MIT Media Lab, is working on an app that uses GPS to create maps showing the movements of people recently diagnosed with COVID-19. An early version, you might see a map with a hotspot 2 p.m. at Starbucks, 3 p.m. at the library. That would tell you where people with the disease had recently been. Raskar told me all the government has to do is demand that every test facility release the trace of infected people in an anonymous manner so that healthy people know where to avoid. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I got to tell you, that definitely adds up. It makes sense to a lot of things that are going on. But I'll let Michelle explain what her feelings are on it, because I got something that I saw on YouTube that I want to share with you guys. But I'll let her go ahead since she's not been on here very long. Maybe she has a lot of insight into this that I don't have. Michelle?
Well, I just know that in my settings, I always turn my phone locator off. So, it's not always following me around. And I don't use my maps or any of that on my phone. And if I do, then I'll opt to turn it on just for that purpose. And then I'll turn it back off. It's a way of keeping your privacy, and it will track you, whether it's on or off if you have that app or if you have that locator turned on. Now, another thing that you could do is just leave your phone at home when you go somewhere. It doesn't always have to be attached to our hip, because I feel that's almost an invasion of your privacy. I mean, it's kind of overstepping the bounds a little bit. And
but in the name of
lose more liberties in the name of peace and safety, and it just is, how far are we willing to go? How much are we willing to give up of our freedoms, for tactics of this nature? If you've got family living in an area,
personal, and not you just personally, but society as a whole. That's the big question.
Right.
It's society as a whole willing to sacrifice that, willing to install an app on their phone that basically tracks their every movement in order to protect them, to keep them safe from coronavirus, in the name of keeping you safe from coronavirus. You think society as a whole will buy in, or do you think that they will not? That's the $1 million question, really, right?
Right. And like I said, it comes in your settings, and whenever you upgrade a phone or anything, you got to go in and actually, it comes standard on. You have to go in and actually turn it off, so you can turn that locator off. So I don't know. I think that would creep me out a little bit if my phone told me everywhere that I went and how long how many miles I drove and all of that. I think that would be a little overwhelming. Big Brother is really, I don't know. I just don't think I would like that. I just don't think I would like that. Not that I go anywhere that I shouldn't, but no matter where I go, it shouldn't matter. If I need to run to the grocery store, if I, want to go visit my grandchildren, my phone shouldn't be judging and telling me where I can and cannot go. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, the article goes on to say, for people like you and I, the quote unquote privacy advocates, as it listed in the article, ways but for the sick might seem harvested from their darkest nightmares, but Raskar is empathetic that his code is open source. Every part of the code should be visible to everyone every day, and that no government or tech company would have exclusive control over the centralized database that it could abuse. Users wouldn't learn anything else about the infected person, such as age or sex. The technology, the privacy challenges of tracing will nonetheless be complex. It could normalize a level of surveillance that might seem totalitarian. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's it.
If we want to get it right, we should learn from experiences of other countries. In Eastern Asia, tracing has already become part of daily life. To see a glimpse of America's future and to anticipate some of the worst excesses of the technology, it's useful to briefly review how tracing works across the Pacific. Let's start with China, where citizens in hundreds of cities have been required to download cell phone software that broadcasts their location to several authorities, including the local police. The app combines geo tracking with other data, such as travel bookings, to designated citizens with color codes ranging from green, low risk, to red, high risk. High risk individuals can be banned from apartment complexes, offices, and even grocery stores. Many human rights advocates fear that what has been rolled out as a public health app is moonlighting as a tool of government espionage and mass discrimination.
That's what I was
Next,
worried about right there.
yep,
Is that if they sit there and say, okay, this is a hot spot, hotbed, now are these people not going to get the care they need, the supplies they need, and the needs of life because they're in supposed hot spot? Maybe it's wrong. It could be totally wrong, and now they're not getting the necessities of life shipped into their area. I don't know. This could just be a mess. I could just see it being used in abusive ways, and also scare people from going in and helping people that really need the help.
yeah,
Well,
I'm with you 100%.
I'll tell you something scarier that's going on is I was watching, I don't know if it was Sean Hannity or that one guy that I like, but one of them was talking about some kind of prime minister from some kind of country of some sort. I think Australia, or maybe it was the UK. I don't know, but I know one of those guys is sick with coronavirus and
You
possibly might.
talking about Boris Johnson, the
Yeah,
guy that kind of looks like Donald Trump from the UK?
yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
He was talking about, and he said it. How did he word it? He tried to word it in the nicest way possible, but he was saying we are going to go to your homes and pull sick people. We're going to check on you, see if you're sick, and if you're sick, we're going to pull you forcibly out of your homes and put you into the hospital. He was basically saying, no, 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 that doesn't mean we're gonna do it in a violent way or anything like that. We're
yeah,
just
he said in a kind and gentle manner or something
right.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Did you guys hear about this?
yeah. Separating families. I saw the press conference that you're referring to. I know what you're talking about.
No, but this is a flashback of history.
Yeah, but let me continue if you don't mind. I got a little more to go here, okay?
Okay.
Next, let's look at South Korea, a democracy that has arguably been more successful than any other in containing the spread of the virus. The government uses several sources, such as cell phone location data, CCTV, and credit card records to broadly monitor citizens' activity. When somebody tests positive, local governments can send out an alert, a bit like a flood warning. The chat or that reportedly includes the individual's last name, sex, age, district of residence, and credit card history, with a minute to minute record of their comings and goings from various local businesses. In some districts, public information includes which rooms of a building the person was in, when they visited a toilet, and whether or not they wore a mask. Mark Zastro, a reporter for Nature, wrote, even overnight stays at love motels have been noted. New cases in South Korea have declined about 90% in the past 40 days, an extraordinary achievement, but the amount of information in South Korea's tracing alerts has turned some of its citizens into imperious armchair detectives who scour the internet in an attempt to identify people who test positive and condemn them online. Choi Yong-a, the chair of South Korea's Human Rights Commission, has said that this harassment has made some Koreans less willing to be tested. And Singapore offers perhaps the most likely model for the West, and by West I mean United States. Residents can download an app called Trace Together, which uses Bluetooth technology to keep a log of nearby devices. If somebody gets sick, that user can upload relevant data to the Ministry of Health, which notifies the owners. Hold on, I'm going to reset here before I time out on you. Which notifies the owners of all the devices pinged in the infected person's phone. Bluetooth is much better than GPS at tracking actual contacts. It gives a good picture of which phone comes close to each other, says Ulf Burmeyer, a privacy advocate, an officer at the Berlin Department of Justice, and the president of Germany's Society for Civil Rights. That almost sounds like a contradiction in itself, but anyway, the downside of Singapore's app is that you have to register with your phone number. When a person is found infected with the disease, the authorities can easily match the IDs with associated home number and impose restrictive measures directly on these people. Germany, which is helping to lead Europe's tracing efforts, is looking to tweak the Singaporean model in a way that might make it more amenable to Western sensibilities. Boymeyer told me that one possibility is to program phones to broadcast a different ID every 30 minutes. So, for example, if I went to Starbucks in the morning, my phone would broadcast one ID over Bluetooth to all the other phones in the cafe. An hour later at lunch with a friend, it would broadcast a different ID to all the other phones at the restaurant. Throughout the day, my phone would also receive and save IDs and log them in an encrypted Rolodex. Days later, if I were diagnosed with the coronavirus, my doctor would ask me to upload my app's data to a central server. That server would go through my encrypted Rolodex and find all the temporary IDs that I had collected, and an algorithm would match the temporary IDs to something called a push token, a unique code that connects each phone to the app. It could then send each phone an automated message through the app. Please be advised, we have determined that in the past few days, you may have interacted with somebody. And at no point in this entire process would anybody's identity be known to either the government or the tech companies. I'm not sure how much I would buy into that. And believe it or not, the article goes on and on and on. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I will provide a link to it in chat. So anybody who wants to look it up can do so and read it for themselves. All right. Did I lose you guys?
No, but doesn't it seem a little bit, like you could have walked past somebody and their phone pinged you or whatever. And now, since you were, in their vicinity, all of a sudden you're high risk and they pulled you and you don't even know what the heck's going on. I don't know. I just can see the abuses in that.
Yeah, it really is a slippery slope. I don't know that. On one hand, I get what they're trying to accomplish, and the technology definitely exists for it. But just because the technology exists for it, and it is a quote unquote pandemic, I don't know. I don't know that I would want to. I mean, it seems like, these other countries have signed on for it. So I think the writing is on the wall that it's going to eventually happen here. I just don't necessarily think that I'm all for
it. Do you know anybody or have you met anybody yet with this illness? Personally, yourself, not a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend's, but you yourself. Is there anyone in either of your direct life that have this? You guys there?
I think we lost.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
I don't know anybody personally. I just know of somebody. My brother, his wife works for the school district, and several people that work for the school district that his wife works at have tested positive. Like, but they're not showing.
But you haven't seen this for yourself.
No, I haven't seen their test results. I don't think I'm going to drive over their house just to look at it.
No, but what I want to know is, because I don't know anybody yet either, and and I know people that are in very high risk factors for it, and they're healthy, they're doing just fine. So, I want to know if there's somebody that actually knows somebody physically that's within their life that actually has it, and
Right.
verifiable. So, to me, that's evidence, not I know of a, and then that's how rumors get started and panic sets in. But when
Right.
you're looking for the evidence within your own life and look for the proof there, like I said, I called, made my doctor's appointment, and I said, I don't have a mask or anything. And they're like, well, you don't need it. We'll give you one if you want one, but we have had no cases here. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, then I'll see you tomorrow. So, I'm calling my own doctor and they haven't had any, and he's staying open for business, just regular hours and everything. I feel pretty confident that he knows what he's talking about, and he knows my situation, so he's not going to put me in any kind of health risk situation. So, because I'm in a risk factor, so a doctor wouldn't put you in harm's way, especially when you're in a high risk factor with underlying medical conditions or situations that have happened that, where you're under tremendous stress or things like that, which are catalysts for you coming down with any kind of flu, cold. You'll come down with it harder because of your situations.
Well, yeah, for sure. And then also, in just the name of that, and just the name of 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 safety. Okay, again, how much are things going to be different going forward? I mean, are we going to have large sellout stadium concerts where people are just packed in together, body to body, and mosh pits and those kind of things? Are they going to still be able to? I mean, are people going to feel safe enough to do that, to get in a swamp of people and bang their head, so to speak?
I definitely think this is a life-changing, event that the world is going through. And yeah, you think about how we used to dance and go, and have a good time and socialize,
Yeah.
and without all of these worries and concerns. So, will we ever get back to that? Will we get back to that freedom and that peace? I don't know. I sure hope so. Because more people but die of the flu each year than what's going on here from the statistics that are being shown. But
but are the statistics a result of low numbers because of all this isolation? As soon as we break the isolation, are the numbers going to start skyrocketing? That's what they would have us believe, right?
That's what they would like us to believe. Yeah, but viruses have to be put into our body in some way. They have to get in there, and viruses are non-living, so they have to, asphyxiate. They have to attach themselves to our cells, but our cells have like a self-destruct. So if something foreign gets into our one of our cells, it's trying to multiply, replicate itself by using the cell, our cells will actually destroy themselves to kill the virus. But we
I'm with you. I don't mean to cut you off, Michelle. I'm with you on what the information you're trying to put there. I don't disagree with you. However, I'm not really trying to focus on that part of of it right now is per se, because that is a whole different issue. Like the how you contract it and all that kind of stuff. I'm not arguing that you're wrong. I just want to kind of mostly kind of I'm trying to make the point is that going forward, how much is it going to change our behavior based
That
on the premise of what they're telling us, not what we know to be true or what we believe, but what society as a whole, how is that going, how are they going to accept this information, and how are we going to proceed as a society going forward? Will we go sit in a crowded movie theater? Would you feel comfortable doing that? Or
yes,
would people in general feel comfortable doing that, is what I'm trying to say.
that would be a personal choice of theirs. I choose not to live in fear. I'm not going to be afraid of other people.
So
We need
basically,
each other.
bottom line, it'll boil down to how many people are willing to brave it.
And it's not even bravery. It's that's how we lived this long. I mean, I don't know. It'll be up to each individual how they take
Yeah,
it, you know. I mean,
it'll be whatever the majority decides. I guess bottom line, it'll be how secure people feel and what they're convinced of they're capable of doing. It'll be basically the media and the media seems to control the scenario. Wouldn't you agree?
yeah, it'll be on whether people can believe their own body and the way they feel, or if they're going to believe something that was told to them by talking heads. Yes, I
Yep.
agree with you.
Well, I'll tell you this much. During the Spanish flu back in 1918, people didn't have computers, they didn't have cell phones, they didn't have all of this other stuff that we have now. And there wasn't like, I mean, yeah, there were still sort of like concerts and movies and stuff like that, I guess. But, um, people got over that flu. They came through the other side and things just kind of went back to normal. But I think in this instance, I think we're going to see a lot of change the way people stand next to each other. Maybe our lines at grocery stores and banks and stuff like that are going to be zigzaggy lines or spaced out lines.
And hygiene wasn't the same back then either, Hebrew. I mean, we're cleaner. We're able to bathe and wash our hands and take care of ourselves with
Right.
clean water. So, of course, a pandemic from 1917, 1918, of a flu virus, which we still deal with today, had a different effect back then than it does today. And we're advancing. Let's not regress. Let's not regress as a society. Let's keep moving forward. And how are we going to have marriages and meet people and have babies and keep going on as a people if we're so afraid to even go out on dates or even be in public or standing next to people? I mean, it's gonna be a big choice that people as a whole, humanity, is going to have to make.
Irregardless of whether it's a choice or not, it's going to become where it's not a choice, is what I'm trying to say. And not only that, I mean, we already have our freedoms taken away little by little, day by day, week by week, month by month. But also, I think we're going to see the way that we exchange money. I think the dollar bill, the coin, or the Bitcoin, or whatever the hell you want to call it, I think that's slowly going to start going away because they're going to convince people not to use paper money. They're going to convince people not to use coins because of the fear of this pandemic, the fear of it coming back.
They're trying. You're talking about everything that they're attempting to do, but it's up to us on whether or not we're going to live in fear of things that have been around for eons that we've never feared before. Why are we fearing it now?
Exactly. It really does boil down to how much people are willing to how much people are willing to accept and how much they're not willing to accept and how much they are willing to give up in the name of safety because that's basically what it is boiling down to. I mean, I honestly see where it might be a while before somebody is shaking somebody else's hand again when you
And you know
first
what,
meet them.
Saji, and what safety are they actually guaranteeing? They're not guaranteeing
Exactly.
any safety at all. Everybody is pretty much, self quarantine, but we still have a problem. So, okay, that didn't work. So, go back to eating dirt when you're a little kid, go back from drinking from the hose, go back to, because our bodies are made to be resilient. Of
Exactly. And they're already talking about how it's most likely going to go fall into the reoccurring flu cycle. Like every year we have the flu season or whatever, that we can just kind of expect this new COVID-19 to integrate into
Well, it'll be
being part
20
of.
the next time
uh,
because it'll mutate. That we're on the 19th strain, so
yeah,
it'll
yeah,
be
yeah. The
yeah,
nine, the 20.
right.
And at what point does it just become, you just where has this been, where has the ideology somehow been lost that a person can just choose to go out and not get a vaccine, not get a shot, just go out there, take their chances in the real world. If I catch it, I catch it. If I don't, I don't. If it gets me, it gets me. If I survive it, I'll build stronger immunity to it, and let's carry on life. I mean, it's not like the whole world is going to end, and at some point in time, the quarantine is going to have to end. It's not like we can all just post up in our houses forever, for eternity, and never come back out again. At some point, sooner or later, they're going to quote unquote have a vaccine, and you're going to either quote unquote be willing to get it or not. And everybody's going to have to start living life again and going out in the world again. And some people are going to catch it, and some
You know
people are
what?
going to die, and some people are
Interesting
going to live.
that you bring up
Right.
vaccines because they are actually now checking the numbers on how many people that are contracting this COVID have actually received a flu shot versus those who did not receive a flu shot who are faring very well through this season.
I
And the
bet you
numbers,
that's some interesting data to look at.
yeah, the preliminary data is already out. You're welcome to look at it. You'll be shocked. You'll be
Oh
shocked.
yeah, I doubt that I will be shocked at all. The only thing that would shock me is if there's no correlation.
No, no, there's correlation. There's definitely correlation. So, it's all in the choices that you make. On just it, it's all in the choices that you make. If you're going to inject
Yeah.
yourself with a virus, well, expect that you're going to come down with it because you are injecting yourself with that virus into your body, into your bloodstream. So you're going to come down with some kind of a form. The idea is it's with good intentions, so you'll get the antibodies, so you won't get it again. Well, as
Well,
we
yeah,
just
that's
talked
what
about,
it's designed to do. It's designed to make your body think that you have the flu, so that it builds the antibodies that it would normally build to fight a flu.
no,
The
you
thing is,
have the
it doesn't.
flu. You just injected it
Yeah.
into your system. But here's the thing:
Right.
it mutates because the virus wants to continue to live. So although you've injected yourself with the other one, well, a new mutated version has come out. And since you have that other one in your system, it's your body's fighting twice as hard. I don't
Well,
know.
not
I'm
only
not
that,
an
but the
anti-vaxxer or I don't have a horse in that race, but for me, the only time that I had the worst flu that I thought I was going to die was when I got a flu shot. And I've never gotten another one since then.
and I've heard so many other people say that. And guess what? I actually know those people personally.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I was one of them. So, but the numbers are interesting. They're already got some preliminaries out there on people that have taken the injection versus ones that have not, and how they're coming through this scenario. So, just do your research. Just don't take my word for it. Don't take Sagi's. Just do your own research so then you'll know what is the best for you and your family. That's what people need to do, is educate themselves.
Yeah, and when by educating yourself, it does not include CNN, MSNBC,
No.
Fox
Do your own
News.
biology and
Yeah,
understand how the cell works. Understand what a virus does.
yeah,
Understand what a bacterial infection is. Understand the differences and how they affect us.
yeah,
The COVID and the flu are so close that they would call it cold and flu medication. Well, the one is the respiratory and the other is the digestal. Well, now they're separating them. The flu is going to be your digestal issues, and the sinus and the lung issue now is the COVID. Well, we did just blend them together before. Just learn, just educate yourself, and you'll know what's the best thing that you should do for you and your family. You should always
exactly.
make the decisions when it comes to your children, your own body, and have the say so.
Yeah, and I want to say that. So wanted to convey that message that anytime that I'm on a rant, like on the show, or I'm putting out information or trying to exercise a point of view, I'm really just doing it in a manner that I'm just trying to get the information out there. I'm not trying to influence anybody. I'm not trying to affect their decision on how they should handle their selves or their family. I mean, I just hope that the information I'm providing gives them some sort of perspective and the desire to seek out more information.
Hey, I
I'm not
get why
ever
you're bringing it
trying.
up. Yeah, these are some
Yeah,
pretty interesting factors and points that are coming out in these articles that people need to take seriously and start thinking about, okay, how much am I willing to give up? How much am I willing to give up of my sovereignty and my freedom just so I don't get a bug that my body could take care of on its own? You know what I
right.
mean? We have an amazing, like I said, an amazing immune system. People with underlying illnesses or other factors like that, well, they're always going to be high risk for any kind of a flu or any virus that's coming through. So it's not just one or another. It's any kind of an illness that they may catch. A lot of people have to be very careful, but they manage to make it through a day-to-day life in public, going to the park, going to picnics, having family get-togethers, meeting significant others, raising children. I mean, these are all parts of our life that are beautiful. And how much of that are we willing to let go of because we are afraid to come out of our own homes?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I know that I'm not. I get and now that Eminem song. I'm not afraid.
And if it's our
I'm.
time to go, it's our time to go. We graduate,
I know what we can't. We're all not going to be able to sit in our houses, wait for them to come up with a vaccine. It could take a year and a half before the vaccine is available.
Yeah,
Are we really going to sit in our houses for the next 14 to 18 months?
and how fair is it then to say that my husband has to go out and deal with this day in, day out just to make sure that everybody has what they need at their stores, but everybody else gets to sit in their homes safe from it? But he's got to go and risk his life and possibly bring it in here. And so why does our lives not matter as much as everybody else's? Do you see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh yeah, if you're considered a quote unquote essential worker, you either got to show up for work or lose your job, right?
Well, I mean, if he didn't show up for work, you guys wouldn't have food to go pick up at the grocery store. I mean, what I'm saying is, I look at it actually as a blessing that we haven't had our employment affected or our lives dramatically affected by what is going on. Because he is going to work every night. But if this is such a pandemic and such a problem, um, why is it okay for some to sit at home and get a check and spend the money on the stuff while he's working and out in the public domain doing what he needs to do in order for people to have that? I mean, yeah, you're right. What they consider essential employees, um, you know, why should they have to go out there? If it was really that serious, then nobody should be out there messing around with it. So we just got to look at everything in balance and in love. And, It's not, he doesn't mind going out and doing what he's doing because it makes sure that everybody has what they need. But we can't live like this forever. We've got to come out of this. We've got to get our minds wrapped around what it truly is, do our own research, and get a good foundational understanding so we can move through this as a people in love, not fear. Don't be afraid of each other,
Yeah. I mean, it really is going to be interesting to see what kind of measures have to come into play before they're going to give us the green light again, But it seems like we can only sustain this for so long, this so-called self-quarantine, self-isolation. I mean, it's going to come to a point where it's going to have to, something is going to have to give one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Did you know that California has already donated over 500 of their respirators to other states because we don't need them? And you would think California, with the densely populated areas, would need them more than any place. But
yeah,
it's purging itself so quickly here, and we're able to donate to other states that are having a more difficult time. So,
that's good to know, I guess. Yeah. That's interesting tidbit.
Yeah.
You want to say something, Hebrew? You said you had something earlier too that you wanted to share.
No, that's all I was sharing was that guy saying that they're going to start pulling people out of their homes. But I do want to add that the longer we become shut-ins, the longer people are going in and out of their homes. I'm talking about family members going to get groceries, going to get this or that. The more chances we are going to have of affecting other people, if that is the case. And the people we are going to affect won't be people out in the streets. It won't be people out in the stores. It won't be people at the drugstore. It'll be our own families if this keeps on much longer, because you can only cycle through so many times.
And that's what I'm saying. My husband has to go to work every single night.
Yeah,
he's out there dealing with it every single night, and we have not had any problems. So, it's all in your perspective. It's all in how you're dealing with things, and also stress. If they keep you really stressed out and scared of this, the probabilities, because now your immune system's not going to be working at its full capability because you're stressed out. So you got to be calm and treat each other with love. And at my mom's park, it's a senior trailer park that she lives in. And they're constantly putting oranges on each other's doors and puzzle books, and they're out cheering. And so they open up their door and they're putting gifts on each other's doors and stuff. It's really kind, the way that they're all, handling it and taking care of one another. That's the kind of things that, the warm, heartfelt stories, the being good to each other and sharing what you have with one another. That's what we want to see more of. Not, they're telling you every place that you went and how many miles and how many people you came in contact with. That's fear. That's
exactly. Terrible. And you know what? The media is almost shooting themselves in the foot at this point, because now you're starting to hear reports back from people who, like, say the people that work at McDonald's or the people that work at the grocery store, or your first responders, your policemen, your ambulance people. They're starting to scratch their head a little bit and just trying and are coming to second guessing the whole, should I even be out here putting my life at risk? Is it even worth it at the chance of bringing it back home to my family? I mean, if you work at a grocery store making maybe $1 or $2 more than minimum wage, if you're lucky, after all your expenses and whatnot, and you come home and you're watching this on the news every day, at one point you're going to start to think to yourself, So there's an unemployment package available that pays me 1.5 times my salary, and I get to stay home. Let's go online and look into that.
Right. But then what's going to happen when everybody's doing that? Then there's nothing on the shelves or nothing to even buy because nobody's producing. So, everybody's has to look at the cause and the effect. And what's the effect of this? It's not going to be a long-term thing, and we can either allow this to define us or change us as a society, or we can overcome it and we can move forward as a stronger people, more loving and more compassionate for one another, having more understanding for one another. And instead of thinking that, well, I'm more special, I should get the money and sit at home. And while everybody else goes out and does the work and takes on the danger.
Right.
It's almost.
I don't even know if it's about being more special as to weighing the risk against the reward. I mean, if you're going to make the same amount of money and minus the risk, why not?
Okay, but at the same token, aren't you kind of saying to yourself that you deserve to sit at home and be pampered and have everything delivered to you, and everybody, because pretty soon, if everybody's doing that, the money's going to be worthless. What can you buy?
Exactly. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that you can't go that direction. We can't. What's happening is people are starting to scratch their head, and the nudge is kind of, the dominoes are starting to fall that way, is what I'm getting at. And what I really think needs to happen is it needs to go the other way. People need to just at some point, we're going to just have to walk out front, go outside, get in our car, go back to our jobs, everybody, and just face it and take it on, grab the bull by the horn, so to speak, and whatever the losses are, but society has to move forward. I mean, I know it sounds terrible coming out my mouth if you watched a lot of news today, but I really do believe that's going to eventually have to occur.
And that's what's been occurring in my household. Nothing has changed. He still has to go to work every single night. So, we're not one of the people that get to self-isolate and sit at home. And, he's still working full time. He's still working the 16-hour shifts. He's still doing what he needs to do. So, that's why I get a little frustrated when people get so scared of other people. Now, I'm not saying go and lick every water bottle in a grocery store or do anything crazy like that. Keep your distance, of course, like we would in any flu season. You protect yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Proceed with caution, but you still got to proceed.
Right. We still have to live. We're still alive. So let's live. Okay, let's continue to live. Otherwise, all we are is in an extra large coffin. Our house is a big
we're just sitting there waiting on an expiration date that will eventually come.
Right. We're wasting our life, and our life is precious, and we should appreciate each other, love each other, and take care of each other.
I agree. You got anything to add to that, Hebrew? Because I think that was a good way to close the topic.
I wasn't trying to argue with you, Saji, though. I was just
no. I was trying to argue with you, and I wasn't trying to argue with you so much as I was just playing devil's advocate there for a minute.
Yeah, we had a good debate there on pros and the cons on both sides of it. So sorry, Hebrew, I didn't mean to walk on you.
No problem. And no, I didn't have very much to add to that except for to say, just we all need just to look out for each other and hang in there and be as safe as possible and take those precautions, like Saji said, and just be who we are and live our lives, live our lives, because you only get one shot at it, people. You live your life, you're just dust in the wind, because that's all we are, man. It's just dust in the wind. That's my final thought, except for I just wanted to wish good old CJ Wood down there a very happy Taco Tuesday and a very happy good night. She's going to bed.
Oh, good night, CJ.
Good night, CJ. Anything else happening in the chat worth noting?
Not much, man. I mean, they're pretty much. You got all ears on you, man. That's all it is. They ain't saying nothing.
All right. Well, who's there? Why don't you give them a shout out while you're visiting?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give this room one final shout out, and then we'll have our final thoughts. How about that?
Sounds like a plan, my man.
All right. Scrolling down, we have another late night. Lotar 900 was here earlier. Of course, CJ Wood, Eddie Van Corona, the real one. We had Lorraine Lamore in here earlier. Let me scroll back up. Do 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 do. Okay, let me scroll down now. And of course, we had Awake and Activate, which is joining us now at this moment. Saji was chatting quite a bit. We had him in there as well. And Michael Fontaine.
Michael Fontaine?
Michael Fontaine.
What?
Michael Fontaine. And a lone one. And I think that's it, folks.
That's it for the chatters, huh?
I did have one other thing that I wanted to bring up and kind of like I don't know, as a final topic, I guess, to kind of close out the point that I was trying to make. I say this to say this to say this, so to speak, you know?
Build.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you guys have probably seen this already, and if not, it really is happening. Since humans have decided to hunker down and shelter in place all around the world, wild animals have started to take over. Are you guys aware of this phenomenon?
Oh, yeah.
I have this article here that shows lots of images of it actually happening. I was going to see if I could share it, see if it'll let me share. All right. Clicked the wrong thing. Hold on. Try again. You know how like it shows you a list, and then right before your thumb touches it, more things show up on the list. So you click the wrong thing by accident. I'm not falling for it the second time. All right, so if you want to bring this article up so people can see the images,
All right, I just now got it. Just give me. Okay.
He just disappeared.
No. Saji did. Holy shit.
Yep.
I mean, holy cow.
Holy moly.
Didn't mean to.
Holy macaroni. He'll be back. I like your background.
Oh, wait, thank you.
Cute.
Yeah, it's very Eastery, isn't it?
Yeah. Sweet.
Okay, let me get over to. He's just sent two things. So let me see what those things are.
You know, Easter is a special day for me this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's the last time that I saw her. Very last time.
Well, I hope Saji comes back.
He will. He's probably doesn't even know he's gone yet. Just give him a minute. He's probably gathering his intel to pass it to you, and then he'd be like, "Wait a minute,
Where'd I go?
I'm not in there anymore." Did you send him a message? You want me to?
Yeah, if you would. I'm trying to get this
Not a problem.
up, but it's not cooperating. Oh, there he is. Hold on. Let me pop him in.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that. When I was trying to share that article, I accidentally kicked myself out.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it up.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, while you do that, I'll go ahead and cover it because once you get the article to show up, just kind of scroll down through the images.
Mm.
I'm gonna try to keep it
This is
kind of,
animals, right?
yeah. London, New York. Let's see. Several pictures taken by a photographer around the world show different mammals, including deer, goats, and others, roaming through communities unabated. In London, a herd of deer was spotted resting in a housing estate in Harold Hill. You know, that's kind of that's not too out of the ordinary in rural areas to see deer show up, you know.
Yeah, but look at this. Oh, you haven't gotten to this part of the article yet, I guess. Show. Go ahead. No.
Oh, in Japan, deer were spotted walking around the shopping area. Approximately 100 deer were seen walking around the city. They are usually fed by tourists, but have ventured further into the city to look for food. And then you have Londadu, I don't know how to say it, Wales. Several mountain goats were spotted roaming the streets on March 31st.
That's what I have.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's what I have up here. A bunch of mountain goats just walking down the street.
Singing do wah diddy diddy dum. Where's everybody?
Yeah. I don't know, man. They might have been singing "This situation's bad."
Stop it. Oh my gosh. Okay, go on.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
You can't do that because then you get me starting to get the giggles, and then I start laughing. This is a serious topic, but I think it is cute that the animals are out because they're trying to show us, you guys, what are you doing? Look at us, you know. We're walking the streets. We're not scared.
I actually saw something on.
We're not ever scared.
Look at the one looking at the camera. He's like, "What? Is there a problem?"
Yeah. Like what? This is normal, right?
Mm-hmm. My buddies, we got this now.
Well. Usually you see Dodge Rams in the street, but not these kind of Rams.
Exactly.
You know?
But I'm telling you, that one is staring right at the camera and smiling like, yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah. What's up?
Why aren't you guys out here?
Right.
The weather's beautiful.
Okay, Sadgie sent me something else, so I'll go
ahead. Never mind that one. I thought it was something different than what it actually is.
Okay. But I
had another article. I'm going to have to look in my notes here. I actually have a memo thing that I save things on. Maybe I saved it there. Yeah, here it is.
Well, I just want to say real fast before you bring that up is that I did see a thing on Facebook where these deer had wandered into a gas station store, a convenience store, and they were like trying to eat the coffee beans, and like they were just stamping around there, and the guy from the gas station said, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" He's like, they're like, "What?" He's like, "Man, this is going to cost you a couple bucks."
Oh, God.
Wah, wah.
Oh, okay, that was cute. Is there more animal?
Well, and then the other deer was like, "Couple bucks, man. I ain't got no couple bucks. I do have some dough."
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, they weren't very fond. They weren't very fond of that guy.
Giving up his own kind.
Okay, go ahead, Zadgie. I'm done with the dad jokes.
All right.
I just think they were going in for their morning coffee. Coffee beans. Sorry, Sag.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm trying to find the same one I had up before because it had lots of great pictures.
Kind of reminds me of I Am Legend, where the animals sort of did take over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the things I was going to say. I forgot. Well,
And what
anyway,
are
they
we going to be
also had like
custodians?
whales were even coming in to into rivers where they're not normally known to come into because the lack of boats out on the river, and it's just
Take that down.
I don't know. It's just I had lots of different images in a different article, but I can't. I'm having a Hebrew moment where I can't seem to bring it up. So I guess I'm not. It's not in the cards for me today.
Well, all in all, I think we had a pretty good conversation there of the pros and the cons on without, we show both sides of the coin.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's funny how nature, isn't going to let nature itself is going to carry on with or without us, and that should be a clue as to maybe what the right path is. If we're not going to go out and about and take over the world, well, by golly, the animals are going to show up in our place.
But you did remind me, though, they did do some testing in some local zoos, and come to find out, animals are able to get coronavirus through humans. They found 1 or 2 tigers that tested positive for the coronavirus, and now the caretakers are all wearing gloves and masks to keep the animals from getting sick. Did you hear about this?
I did see that article. I'm not sure how much of it is 100% accurate because a tiger could test positive for coronavirus, but did it actually test positive for COVID-19? That's a different story.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, the tiger just took one look at the guy and was like, "This is not great."
And, if people really want to know how long that the coronavirus has been known, just look on the back of your Lysol can and actually go back, 50 years ago, and if you can find it when the cans were gold before they were all, different scents and stuff, that's always been listed. The coronavirus, it's mutated to number 19, and which viruses are always continuously mutating. That's why you can't get the same cold twice. So, don't live in fear of this stuff. It's nothing new. They're saying it's novel, it's new, it's something. It's not. It's not, you guys.
If you have a Webster's medical journal or one of those books where you can look up medical terminologies, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
If you look up coronavirus, even if you got one that's 20 years old and you look up coronavirus, guess what it's going to say next to it? Common cold.
Yep. Yes. It's a cold flu thing, which any cold or flu, can actually lead to a bacterial infection, depending on, the stress level or underlying other illnesses, which then can turn into pneumonia, which then will need medical intervention. I'm not saying that a virus will not at some point may need medical intervention, but a virus on its own is, chicken noodle soup, bed rest, and over-the-counter medication is what you're told by any doctor, because they don't have the medications for viruses. Viruses are a common thing. We deal with viruses all the time. Our bodies are amazing. The way that our immunity, our system works, we're always continuously making new cells. Our cells will, like I said, they will commit suicide if they are encroached by a virus in order to kill the virus. I mean, we're just amazingly made. And if you trust in that, trust in the way that the good Lord made you, and realize that nothing here can hurt you except for when you stress or, have underlying problems. And, I'm not a doctor. I'm just going by history and what we've been through as mankind as a whole, and the research that I've done on viruses versus bacterial infections and how they interact. And they did try to say that yes, we can give them to animals and plants, but that was debunked very quickly after it was put out. Now, there's different strains that can affect plants or animals, but they don't cross over between species or anything of that nature. So that's another thing that's kind of myth. It's a myth. It's a wise tale. And you could take any information and run a direction with it, with a narrative, and scare the pants off of people.
And that's what that article, the if you just look at the name of an article like that, the name of that article with the picture of the tiger at the zoo, it's meant to get you to click on it, to get you to, oh no, it looks like it went to an animal. But
now you're afraid to eat anything.
Yeah, right. But if you read the entire article and you go into the details, you'll come to realize that they're not 100% sure it was this or that or the other, but it made for good clickbait and it got you to click on it, and it's giving you some type of disinformation that you're going to now be talking about, to somebody else, and that's the whole point of stuff like that. You gotta watch out for the misinformation and the disinformation, and heck, sometimes even the real information isn't the real information. So so much discernment is required. But I mean, that's why we do the show. That's why we have our chat room. That's why we all come here and we all talk about it. That's the whole point of what we're doing.
To diffuse drama, not create it. We're not here to create drama. We're here to, lift each other up and strengthen, and to, just like I said, don't listen to what I'm saying. Look into it yourself. Anybody that went to high school and took biology, you looked at them under a microscope, and you looked at cells, you looked at viruses, you've seen it, you've got that basic understanding already. And so when you're looking at the information, you'll flash back, oh yeah, I learned that in school. And then you'll be able to grow and understand, just from the basic knowledge that we got from high school.
But keep in mind that, not everybody is out there seeking the truth as avidly as, the people who probably show up for our podcast do. I mean, there's people who solely get their 100% of all their information straight from an alphabet mainstream media news channel, and whatever that programming is programming their mind with today, that's what they're going to believe to be true. They have no other source of input. They have no other source of information. They're not opening any books. They're not reading any in-depth medical journal articles or offbeat articles that, actually are trying to, apply perspective or discernment into your brain. They're just reading the 5th grade level news feed that's being shot into their brain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you got to keep in mind that person is at an extreme disadvantage.
You want to know, okay, if you want to talk about entertainment, this is kind of more like a documentary type of a movie. But if you want to learn about disinformation and how they inject it into the population to sway people into doing and complying with what the narrative that they're trying to promote and move forward, there's a movie. It's called Mirage Men. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, just do a simple search on YouTube. It is free to watch right now. It is an actual movie, and that will get you an understanding of how they can inject these narratives or these falsehoods even into communities, to try to put that fear and to control how the population thinks and behaves. It was a very interesting movie, and it really kind of tells about these alphabet places and how they do their inner workings in order to get the compliance that they want. So, if you're interested, like I said, it's called Mirage Men, and it's a pretty good movie. But realize it's entertainment. So there's going to be some fact and fiction. Look at it as entertainment, but also there's always some truth mixed in there with the entertainment. But it is a good movie. Did you have any more animals to share with us? Did we lose him again, Hebrew?
I'm sorry. I was putting the link in chat for Mirage Men.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're fast.
Okay. Yeah.
I would have been faster, but I had to, every time I hit paste, it wouldn't paste. So I was about to give up, but then it finally worked.
I hate when that happens. So
But
yeah,
that's it. That's all I got. I couldn't find the other article that showed more images, but y'all get the idea. If I mean, I think that the point of all that is just to realize that we have to keep moving forward. You know, Saggy always pressing forward.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
You too.
But that's really all I got. That's my final thoughts. Anybody else?
You do such good work, Sad. You do a lot of good research to bring out on these Taco Tuesdays. Like I said, I just am here. I just go with the flow, but you really do your homework. You really, put together a lot. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming on and adding another perspective. You know, you can never get too many perspectives when you're bouncing ideas. The more, the better.
It's true.
Absolutely. Well, hey guys, I think we're going to close it out on that note. I just like to thank everyone for joining Taco Tuesday, and Michelle, thank you for being here with us.
Sorry I was late.
Well, I know we took you out of your nap, so yeah.
No, I apologize that I was late. I'm sorry.
Hey, no problem. You were
We'll
here.
we'll just take it out of your pay. That's all.
Right. We'll take it
Okay. Dock my check. Just dock it.
So what would that be? Let's see. 0% of 0 is what?
I'm way in the hole. I think I owe
Yeah.
you now.
If you go back and you listen to the beginning, you'll see where he shot down my raise. I tried to negotiate with my manager. So
You guys.
So yeah, we had some good talks here, Saji. Good discussion as usual, and like Michelle said, and I couldn't say it any better than what she did. You did a good job as researching. You're my research department. I always say that. In fact, Shifty Sunday, we were all down in the dumps when we realized that the research department was missing. We had to just pull things off the top of our heads. So thank you for all that. Just saying that to say this. Yeah, good research, man.
all right. Well, thanks again. Thanks for giving me the platform in which to express it. I'm glad to be here. I want to thank everybody in chat that showed up, everybody that was lurking, everybody that gives us a view every week. Please try to remember to hit the thumbs up and keep coming back, and we'll keep trying to put out good information for you.
All right, that sounds good. And just remember, we have Shifty Sunday coming up this week. And until next time, this is Hebrew77, along with Wake and Activate and Sagittariusly Speaking, saying we hope you all stay safe, have a good time out there, and let your troubles melt away somehow by listening to this song. Thank you.